Art and Dharma Class 9, Manjushri Tsatsa. Dear beautiful and radiant viewers, welcome to the 9th episode of Art and Dharma, where we will talk about the connections or interplay between art and Dharma. My name is Victor Gabriel and I am a lecturer at Sakya Buddha University in Santa Ana, California. You can reach me through my email awake.star.sky@gmail.com. In this 9th episode, I would like to discuss this Manjushri Tsatsa. We will explore Manjushri, their iconography, their role in Buddhist cosmology, their devotional practices and significance. Manjushri Bodhisattva, known as Manjushri in Sanskrit, is a significant figure in the Mahayana Buddhism. He embodies wisdom and enlightenment and is often depicted as a young prince with a serene demeanor, holding a sword and a text upon a lotus. This deity is venerated across various Buddhist traditions, particularly within East Asian Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, and many forms of Zen and Theravada practices. The name Manjushri translates to gentle glory or sweet glory in Sanskrit. His Sanskrit name is derived from Maju, meaning sweet or pleasing, and Shri, glory or radiance. In Tibetan, he is known as Mangnak Nyenpa, and in Chinese, he is called Wenshu Pusa. Manjushri is one of the earliest bodhisattvas to be revered in Mahayana Buddhism, dating back to the early centuries of the Common Era. In the sutra, The Array of Virtues of Manjushri, Buddha's Realm, the Buddha proclaims, the benefit accomplished for beings by Manjushri Kumara, Buddha in each eon, is not performed even by trillions of Buddhas. Jamyang Khyentse Wangpo, and significant Buddhist scholar of the last century, says, in definite terms, Manjushri, you are now and from the very beginning you have always been a genuine Buddha, in whom all qualities of abandonment and realization are totally perfected because you have completely traversed all the 10 bhumis, such as the joyous and so on, and the purified the 2 obscurations, together with any latent habitual tendencies many incalculable eons ago. Nevertheless, from a merely provisional perspective, you appear as the foremost of all the bodhisattvas and demonstrate the means of training as a bodhisattva in the presence of all the victorious ones and their heirs throughout the 10 directions. Moreover, from the perspective of the Mantrayana, there is no doubt whatsoever that you, Manjushri, are a Buddha. In fact, this is even stated in the sutras. In the array of the virtues of Manjushri's Buddha realm, for example, it is says you have completed the 10 bhumis. And in 2 other sutras, the Surangama Samadhi Sutra and the Angulimala Sutra, you are clearly referred to as a Buddha. Manjushri is often depicted in a youthful form, symbolizing the purity and clarity of wisdom. His iconography includes Manjushri wields a flaming sword in his right hand, which represents the cutting through of ignorance and delusion. And the sword is used to sever the bonds of ignorance and bring clarity and understanding. In his left hand, he typically holds a lotus flower, which signifies the purity of his wisdom, blooming from the mud of delusion. Upon the lotus flower is a sutra or book of the Prajna Paramita Sutra, which represents the perfection of wisdom. His youthful form symbolizes the freshness and dynamic nature of wisdom, which is ever new and vibrant. Manjushri embodies the principle of wisdom and is associated with perfect understanding of the nature of reality. His attributes reflect the qualities of clarity, insight, and the ability to dispel ignorance. He represents the wisdom that sees through the illusion of reality and grasps the true nature of things. Manjushri's primary attribute is wisdom. He is considered the embodiment of the insight into the ultimate nature of reality. His wisdom cuts through the fog of ignorance and delusion, leading to enlightenment. While wisdom is his main attribute, Manjushri is also compassionate. His wisdom is not cold or detached, but combined with a deep sense of compassion for all beings. Manjushri has been revered in various Buddhist traditions and cultures. His influence spans across Indian, Tibetan, Chinese, and Japanese Buddhism. In Indian Buddhism, Manjushri is one of the earliest bodhisattvas to be venerated. He appears in various texts and is associated with the early Mahayana sutras. He is seen as the protector of the teachings of the Buddha and a source of the profound wisdom. In Tibetan Buddhism, Manjushri holds a special place as one of the principal bodhisattvas. He is often invoked for his wisdom. Many monasteries have special rituals and practices dedicated to him. The popular chanting the names of Manjushri and Manjushri's prayer are recited to seek his blessings for wisdom and clarity. In Chinese Buddhism, Manjushri is known as Wensu Pusa and is one of the four great bodhisattvas. He is venerated for his wisdom and associated with several important temples and practices in China. His worship includes various rites and ceremonies aimed at increasing wisdom and understanding. In Japanese Buddhism, known as Monju in Japanese, Manjushri is revered as the deity of wisdom and is often associated with various Buddhist schools, including Tendai and Shingon traditions. His figure appears in many temples and is linked with practices aimed at deepening one's insight and understanding. Devotional practices related to Manjushri often focus on invoking his wisdom and seeking his guidance in overcoming ignorance and confusion. The mantra associated with Manjushri is Om Arapasana Di, which is often chanted to invoke wisdom and clarity. This mantra is believed to help practitioners develop insight and understanding. Meditation on Manjushri involves in visualizing him or imagining him reflected and reflecting on his attributes of wisdom and clarity. Practitioners may meditate on his image, his mantra, or the qualities he embodies to develop their own wisdom. There are various prayers and rituals performed to seek Manjushri's blessings. These include offerings, recitations of sutras, rituals aimed at cultivating wisdom and dispelling ignorance. Today's artwork is a Tsatsa. In Tibetan Buddhism, Tsatsas are small sacred objects made of clay that are primarily used in rituals and practices. These objects are often made of a mixture of clay and other materials and often used for various purposes, including merit making, offerings, and as parts of spiritual practices. The term Tsatsa is derived from the Tibetan where Sa means to mold or cast, and Tsatsa refers to small molded objects used in religious practice. Traditionally, Tsatsas are made from a mixture of clay and other substances such as flour, water, and sometimes minerals. In modern practices, other Materials like gypsum or various types of plaster may also be used. They are typically small, compact objects, often in the shape of deities, stupas, and other sacred symbols. They are usually cast in molds made of wood or clay or metal and then allowed to dry. They may also contain mantras, relics, and other blessed substances. Tsatsas have several important uses in Tibetan Buddhism. Creating and offering tsatsa is considered a meritorious act. It is believed that engaging in this spiritual practice accumulates merit, contributes to positive karma, and progresses along the path to enlightenment. Tsatsas are often used in ritual offerings. They may be placed on altars or within stupas as offering to the deity spirits or the three jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Tsatsas are sometimes included in the construction of stupas and other religious monuments. They may be placed in the structure in a way to enhance its sanctity and accumulate merit. Besides making tsatsas, practitioners of Manjushri may undertake a pilgrimage to Mount Wutaisan. This mountain is identified as the worldly abode of Manjushri and is located in Shaanxi Province, China. It is one of the 4 great sacred Buddhist mountains of China. Its 5 grass-covered flat peaks are arranged in a crescent-shaped configuration and are located above the tree line, around 3,000 meters. Accordingly, the mountain obtained its name Wutaisan, the 5-terraced mountains. Tibetans and Mongols refer it as Riwo Sangha, the 5-peak mountain. The mountain peaks appear from a far distance like the heavenly altars and conventionally referred to by their cardinal directions. Together, the peaks are believed to constitute Manjushri's mandala within a different emanation of Manjushri residing on each peak. Since ancient times, Wutaisan has been known to be a mystical and sacred site inhabited by divine spirits, accompanied by unusual events such as miraculous light appearances at night that can be seen up to the present day. The mountain continues to attract pilgrims in search of spiritual accomplishment. It was the repeated visionary encounters of Manjushri and other bodhisattvas during the 5th century by pilgrims and hermits that fostered the belief that Wutaisan is the earthly abode of Manjushri. In these visions, Manjushri was reported to appear in several forms, principally as a 5-colored cloud, a glowing ball of light, a youthful prince astride a lion, or in the guise of a monk or mendicant. These stories centered local traditions, commentaries, and were recorded on maps. The first monastery was likely built by Emperor Cellphone, 471 to 499 CE. Wutaisan's fame spread and was carried by devotees across Himalayan lands and into the plains of India. This inspired Tibetan, Mongol, and Indian scholars and practitioners to follow the accounts and explore the mountains. On reaching the mountain, like the Chinese devotees, the foreign pilgrims experienced similar visionary encounters with Manjushri. The fame of Wutaisan had spread and thus influenced the writings of non-Chinese Buddhist scriptures, such as the Swayambhu Purana, which recounts the origins of Buddhism in the Kathmandu Valley. Indian, Tibetan, and Mongol Buddhist teachers were well respected by the Chinese court and thus granted a privileged position which allowed them to establish monasteries at Wutaisan. This led to establishment of a diverse monasteries and traditions at Uthai-san. Nowadays, around 50 monasteries and temples are active and can be visited. Today, we have talked about Manjushri, their iconography, their role in Buddhist cosmology, their devotional practices and significance. If you like this episode, please write to me at awake.star.sky@gmail.com. Tell me what you like and what you have enjoyed and what you like to see more of. You can also submit artwork that you want me to comment about. Thank you.